Support for Radio Friends comes from La Brunerie Financial, where they work to ensure a lifetime of financial security for people from all walks of life, from investment services to retirement plans. If you're looking for a trustworthy company that has the experience and knowledge to put your interests first, contact La Brunerie Financial, a community-based investment counseling firm since 1966. Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on this Monday, September the 12th. Always a pleasure to have you with us. We're going to talk about something that affects each and every one of us, whether we realize it or not, or whether we think about it on a regular basis or not, and that is climate change. And I want to introduce you to Jeff HOLZEM. Good to have you here, Jeff.
Thank you.
And Jack Meinzenbach. Pleasure to have both of you here dealing with climate change. And this is something that you both feel very strongly about and you are concerned about. You want to talk to people about some facts and information that perhaps we can all do good together.
Absolutely, yes. In fact, let me first of all give some good news. A tremendous bill just passed called the Inflation Reduction Act. It was the first time we've ever spent this money on climate. $369 billion for credits, $250 billion for loans for green energy. And let me just give a few specifics of what it does for you as individuals, for all of us. There's a 30% tax credit for solar and for wind. Put panels on your home at a big discount. There's money for energy efficiency for buildings, double pane windows, insulation, heat pumps. Also for EVs, there's credits for that. There's billions for other things. For example, there's billions for environmental justice, for clean manufacturing, for post office to buy more electric vehicles, clean vehicles, heavy-duty trucks and buses, school buses, transit buses, garbage trucks, things that cause a lot of pollution. It helps make those cleaner. There's money for climate-smart agriculture processes and healthy forests. Forests take carbon out of the air, store carbon for us. There's money for coastal rehab. There's also incentives for nuclear, which is low carbon, and producing uranium. There's an expanded tax credit for carbon sequestration and carbon capture.
Can I
Absolutely, yes.
I want to go back to one thing.
Sure.
The very first thing you mentioned, a 30% tax credit for putting solar panels on your house or in your yard.
Yes.
That's a big amount of money.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
By putting solar panels on, you're helping the environment. You're going to save money yourself. Mm-hmm. And it's going to pay for itself over the long run, right?
Yes, it will. It will indeed.
It'll be like a 6 or 7 year payback is what it is.
Yeah. So that's something that everyone can think about. It is a win-win situation.
Yes.
What else did you want to add?
I want to mention to you about the Renewable Choice Program along the solar panel. You can subscribe to solar panels and wind units if you are served by Boone Electric.
Yeah.
Renewable
so
Choice.
You can
don't have to put them on your house. You can just...
You subscribe to it and you're helping to invest in the solar energy.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
All right.
When I was looking here, which this astounded me, Missouri is one of the worst states in the nation when it comes to exposing residents to toxic air pollution from coal-fired plants. Those are pretty strong words. And you're saying that our state is one of the worst in the country?
Well, for one thing, the power plant in Labadie, Missouri, which is near St. Louis, is the number 2 of the top 10 pollution emitter power plants in the country.
In the country?
In the country. It's number 2 on the top 10 list. That was built in 1970. And although they've put some improvements in over time, it's still the worst emitter ever. And people around those plants, and a Rush Island plant is another one, they have bad health problems when it comes to respiratory illness. And some people end up dying from this. Not only that, but the EPA is going to put in place a good neighbor rule that's going to force a state like Missouri to stop polluting other states. Like a lot of it goes to Illinois, Indiana, further east, and it also goes up north all the way to Wisconsin. So we're keeping those other states from achieving their Clean Air Act thresholds because we're putting more dirt into their air.
Okay, what is going to happen if this is enforced? But price-wise, a lot of people say, okay, that's fine, but is it going to cost me more money in the long run?
Well, public utilities, yeah, they try to put the cost down on the people, but this has been going. The Clean Air Act was put in place in 2015. Okay, so it's been around a while.
Yeah.
And they can choose to invest in that plant and try to clean it up, but I think it's financially an impossibility. They're going to have to replace it. Ameren, they're trying to do this. They're trying to get the solar and wind and more stuff, but they've got to bite the bullet and close that big emitting plant down and replace it with wind and solar. They might purchase it from Iowa or wherever. When we get the clean, what do they call it? The Grain
Belt Express.
Grain Belt Express. The transmission line.
And this is something that's controversial too, because there are a lot of people who do not want the Grain Belt Express going through their land.
Yeah, they do. But I think the governor has found a way to pay them to make that happen. Here's the thing. Everybody's got to sit back and think about this. Do you want to have healthy air to breathe or not? That's really what we're talking about.
Okay, I think everybody's going to say, yes, I want healthy air to breathe.
Yeah.
If you might have to spend a little money for that, but it's not. The more we wait, we're killing people every day with this air. Every day, people are dying because of this pollution.
But we're also trying to get them to go to clean energy. The other thing that our group's been working for is a carbon price, which would help us transition to renewable energy. I mean, utilities in Missouri are putting in solar, putting in wind. Ameren's going to invest in a big plant. Peabody Coal's going to put in solar in a former coal mine, a huge facility for solar. So we can do it.
So there is hope on the horizon. There is hope.
Yes.
Utilities are making the change for the better. But it's important for people to voice their opinion.
Right. That's right.
Leads us to the next thing Jack wants to talk about.
Yeah, real quick, because we got less than about a minute here.
Okay.
You want to contact your county, your state officials on this.
Right, local, state. Well, here's the thing. I'm just going to read this real quick. We will need additional efforts from future sessions of Congress to meet America's pledge of 50% emissions reduction by 2030.
We got 40% now. We need the rest.
We have 40%
in that act.
With that Inflation Reduction Act.
So we need another 10% to meet by 2030, reducing the emissions by 50%. Right. What can people do? 20 seconds here, real quick.
Okay, we need people to show up at town hall events to share our concerns about climate change and ask the candidates who are seeking our vote what they're going to do next to support that. And we need to show up at campaign events and tell the incumbents and challengers that we'll support those who prioritize solutions to climate change.
Okay. For more info,
and most importantly, when you show up, you need to show up at the polls in November and vote.
And vote.
That's the main thing you have to do.
Okay.
And for climate active candidates.
CCLUSA.org if you want more information on that. I know you've got a lot more to say, but we're out of time. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having us, Paul.
Bye-bye.